It's March 1996. I'm an assistant district attorney for Queens County in the Supreme Court Trial Bureau. I've worked my way through the other bureaus till now I'm a trial assistant. My wife Jill is 20 weeks pregnant with our first child. She's the vice president of training at a bank here on Long Island. On March 12th, 1996, while in the lunchroom of that bank, she suffers a sudden death cardiac arrest, flatline. As awful as that sounds, and I assure you it was quite awful, the next events, orchestrated by a series of people, saved her life and the life of our son. There were 3 EMTs in the lunchroom that day who recognized what was happening and immediately started CPR. A 911 call went out, and the Melville Volunteer Fire Department's advanced life support truck, which was already pulling out of the station, was rerouted to the bank because a 29-year-old pregnant woman in cardiac distress takes precedent. They got there within 4 minutes of the 911 call. They had with them a new device, an automated external cardioverter defibrillator. They placed it on her, and the machine said, press the button. They could not detect a pulse, but the machine could. And they continued to press the button. Shocked so many times at the bank, in the ambulance, and then in the hospital, that she had second-degree burns on her chest and flank, a small price to pay. I was in the DA's office at the time waiting to do a hearing when I was informed that my wife was had passed out at lunch and was going to North Shore Manhasset as a precaution. I arrived at North Shore Manhasset and she was not there, and I was informed she was being transferred from Central General in Plainview to Manhasset. But I had a chance to speak to a doctor from Central General, and he said, "What do you know?" I said, "I was told my wife passed out." He said, "Your wife's in extremely critical condition." I was befuddled. Why are you moving her from Central General to North Shore Manhasset if she's in extremely critical condition? He said that North Shore Manhasset has the best neonatal unit in the region. Again, not swift on the uptake. I said, why do we need a neonatal unit? He responded that we don't expect your wife to live through the night, and when she dies, we're going to take the baby. Now, my wife is a Taurus. She's very stubborn, almost obstinate. I can only think that somewhere deep inside she said, "Not today." In June of that year, June 19th, our son Robert was born. We were informed, and it became apparent, that the trauma of the cardiac arrest, the medication that they had been on, and the oxygen deprivation that he experienced had a profound impact on him. The term childhood delay or delays in childhood development were daily conversations in our house with respect to feeding, physical, processing, and eventually speech. These were times of uncertainty and kind of a crisis mode. Early intervention were constant fixtures in our home from Robert's age of 2 months to 5 years. He received feeding therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, special education, and eventually speech. We had been informed that a childhood delay in development early on, while it may not we were informed that a childhood delay in development early on may not look like much at the time, but because development is an inverted pyramid, missing a block on the bottom could have a dramatic impact of the blocks on top. I'm not sure when it happened, but there was a moment of transformation when we said we were not going to listen to these people who told us that Robert would not do this and Robert would not do that. We decided that we would never say what if. There was not going to be a day, years or decades in the future, where we were going to say, what if we did? Robert had a processing delay. His brain was unable to tell his body how to motor plan. We enrolled him in jiu-jitsu. The repetition of doing the various moves and forms had his body teach his brain how to move and give him confidence in how to move. Robert had anxiety and attention issues. We enrolled him in biofeedback training. We enrolled him in visual integration training, only to learn that Robert could not learn visually. He could only learn auditory. He was then taught grade school, high school, and college. He has an associate's degree with honors, verbally. I'd like to say us, but it was mostly my wife, Jill, who taught him his lessons day after day, year after year. Now, for me, I left the DA's office and went into private practice. The fields that I practice in are employment discrimination, civil rights, and constitutional law. I'd like to think that the experiences that we had in raising our son and seeing how he and other people with disabilities are treated shaped me and shaped the way my firm operates. Everyone at my firm is incredibly proud of the work that we do and the fact that we get to help those people who have been marginalized by society, people who sometimes don't have the ability to advocate for themselves. Today, my firm still practices those fields. My wife, Jill, has a career in village government in which she's doing a fantastic job and is well loved by everyone. And my son, Robert, is in the Nicholas Center. Robert is thriving at the Nicholas Center. He is working with both neurodiverse and neurotypical people in a productive business here in Port Washington, where he's giving back to the community and the community gives back to him. Together, we share our love of Formula One racing and Premier League football. I'm incredibly proud of the work that my son has put in to get to this point. The thousands of hours of therapy, the work that he does now, and I'm incredibly excited for the future. Thank you.